Alright guys, let's start our discussion about indicators. We'll be discussing the most commonly used indicators and how I use them in my trading. Before we go further though, I do want to emphasize that indicators are simply a helping aid. They are an extra tool to add confluence to what you think the market will do based on reading the price action. Reading the price action is the most essential thing you need to learn as a trader. Being overly dependent on indicators is not the best way to go. So learn to read price action and then use indicators as an extra tool to help you build confluence in what you're seeing. The first indicator that we'll start with is called RSI, or the Relative Strength Index. It's one of the most commonly used indicators, which is why I picked it. And I'm going to use the random chart of Apple. Alright, so to put it on the chart, you first go to the indicators. It's already built in. It's already built in TradingView. So you just go to the Relative Strength Index and voila, we have it here. So now let's start with what RSI stands for, what this Relative Strength Index means. This indicator is used to assess the momentum or the power of a movement, of the price movement. So if this RSI, if the price is going up strongly, then the RSI will move up as well. You can go and look at the calculation yourself. It goes from 0 to 100, and the way most people define it is above 70 is called overbought and below 30 is called oversold. Now, I don't particularly agree with that terminology, because the term overbought makes it feels like, all right, this market will pull back lower. And the term oversold makes it feel like market should bounce. But as we all know from Newton's laws, a thing that's moving is likely to keep moving, while an object at rest is likely to stay at rest. So if RSI is moving up, just because it goes above 70 is not a reason for you to short it. Same way, just because it goes below 30 is not a reason for you to go long. What you want to be looking in those cases are divergences. And what are divergences? I will discuss it soon. So the most common RSI setting that people use is 14 days. If you are doing short-term trading like intraday trading, then using RSI 5 is quite useful for scalping. But the most common one is RSI 14. This blue line, that's your RSI. You have this yellow line, which is the simple moving average around the RSI. Now, let's discuss how I use RSI with the price action. All right. So the way I look at it is you have this 50 line, which is the demarcation line. Once RSI moves above 50, that's RSI saying that I have bullish momentum, that I want to go higher, which should coincide with price moving higher. As you can see, when RSI moved above 50 here, price went up strongly. When RSI moved below 50 here, price started going down in a strong manner. So above 50, look at this. Once RSI went above 50, price had strong bullish momentum. So once RSI crosses above 50, you can say that bullish momentum is picking up. And once RSI crosses below 50, you would say bearish momentum is picking up. That's the first thing. That's how I like to use RSI, is with this demarcation line of 50. Now, the second use of RSI is something called divergences. When I said earlier, just because RSI goes below 30 or is called oversold does not give you a reason to buy. Same way, just because it went above 70 does not give you a reason to sell. In order to do that, in order to do a counter trend move or a counter momentum move, what you want to be looking for are divergences. What is a divergence? A divergence is when the when the price makes a new low and the RSI does not. That's called a bullish divergence. That's showing that the price made new lows, but with less momentum. That means the momentum is slowing down and there's a high chance of reversal. You see how the story is playing out? Just because RSI went oversold does not tell you if the momentum is slowing down. What you want to look for is price going lower, but the momentum is not making new lows. That's called a bullish divergence because price went lower but on less momentum, which means that the momentum is changing direction now. So let me show you an example of a divergence and you will start to get it. All right. So you can see in this case, from here to here, price went lower. But if you look at the comparable RSI, RSI here was 28.53 and RSI here is how much? 42.48. So you can see how price made a new low, but RSI did not. And that's called a bullish divergence because price made a new low, but on less momentum down, which means it's starting to change direction. So when you see this divergence, that's when you buy, not just because it's oversold. You want to see some confluence. You want to see some divergence in order to know that the momentum is shifting direction. Let's see if I can find another example of this. Another example would be of a divergence would be something like this. Let me see if I can find a way to make just a line. Trend line it is. All right. We had, yes, something. This is not that big of a divergence, but you can still see it's there. You have the price on this day, and the RSI is 32.93, and then you go just a few days later, price made new lows, but RSI is 33.79. So you can see that there's a bullish divergence, and price changed direction right after that. So that's how you use RSI in order to do a counter trend trade. How do you do it to do a trade with the trend? You look at how the line breaks 50. If it goes up, then you're knowing that price is gaining positive momentum. If it goes below 50, you know that price is gaining negative momentum. And then if you want to look for reversals, you look for divergences. So we can see some more examples. You can see here. And this, so I just showed you bullish divergences when price made new lows, but the RSI did not. Let me show you a bearish divergence. A bearish divergence would be something like this. So you can see from this day, December 13th to January 4th of 2022, price made a new high, right? But RSI did not. On December 13th, the RSI, even December 12th, December 10th, the RSI is at 78.69. But when price made new highs, the RSI was at 66.60. So you can see the RSI went lower, but price made new highs. That's called a bearish divergence. I hope you're starting to see how to use RSI for understanding momentum and for expecting reversals. That's how it's used. Now there's another concept called hidden divergences. They're not used as often, but what that means is a hidden divergence would be something like the RSI made new highs, but the price did not. So what it's telling you is, let's say price is going up, all right, and RSI is going up. Good. Now, at some point, RSI made a new high, which means the momentum is strong, but price could not make a new high. So what that tells you is that even with a stronger momentum, price could not go and make new highs. So after that, what's likely to happen is that the market will lose hope in the bullish momentum and start reversing. So that's called a hidden divergence. It's the opposite of what we discussed with the regular divergences. Now they're not used as often, but I wanted to mention that just in case if you hear about it. It seems like that's it with RSI. It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple tool to use, and if you are looking out for reversals, it's a great way. So when I mention, oh, many of the stocks are making new highs but on divergences, that's what I mean. Another tool that people use instead of RSI is called MACD. It's called moving average convergence divergence. There it is. Similar to RSI, the structure is a bit different, the way it's calculated is a bit different, but the idea is still the same. That 50 line in RSI is similar to your 0 line here. Above this 0 you have bullish momentum, below this 0 you have negative momentum, bearish momentum. And again, you want to look for divergences. You can see here where price went and made new lows, but MACD did not. You can see on May 20th, MACD is at minus 6.7, and 17th of June, MACD is higher, right before a reversal. So some people use MACD, moving average convergence divergence. Other people use RSI. They're both momentum indicators, and you can use either. They're used the same way. So just wanted to mention it out there in case you get confused or if you want to use both RSI and MACD, I think that's just redundant. Alright guys, that's it for the first indicator tutorial. I hope I simplified RSI for you. If you have any questions, ask them in the chats. Next thing, we'll move to moving averages.